A new report warns ISIS followers in the Middle East may be plotting a chemical attack on the United States. The report is based on intercepted conversations. It shows the desire by ISIS to use chlorine or other weapons of mass destruction on American soil. U.S. officials are working to disrupt the plan. A Homeland Security official said, quote, "The bottom line is the threat is real." CBS News senior national security contributor Michael Morell is a former CIA deputy and acting director. Michael, good morning.
Good morning.
How do you read this new plot?
I think we should take this seriously. ISIS has for some time said that they want to acquire weapons of mass destruction and to use them. And they've actually been able to manufacture chemical weapons in Iraq and Syria and use them on the battlefield. So this is something we need to take seriously and work to defeat.
And is it something we need to take seriously because they can bring it into the United States, or they might hit U.S. targets overseas?
So it seems the intelligence reporting is about bringing it in. I think we need to be more worried about them making it here. This stuff is difficult to transport. It's difficult to get it by customs and immigration. I think it's more likely that they send the recipe here to their followers and they make it here.
How easy is it to make it here?
Bachelor's degree, master's degree in chemistry, the right materials, easy to do.
How hard is it to deploy a chemical weapon?
It's difficult to make it work and spread widely, right? Most people think you need to spread it with explosives, but that actually deteriorates some of the chemicals. So it is difficult to disseminate. But again, if you know what you're doing, and these guys do, then it can do real damage.
He was rattling a lot of cages, I thought, yesterday. At one point he said the world isn't listening to us, but they're listening to us now. Who was he talking to, Michael?
Yeah, so now we're talking about Vladimir Putin and the speech he gave, right, about nuclear weapons. Mm-hmm. I think he was talking to his own people because he has an election coming up. And he wants to look tough. The Russian people like strong leaders.
An election he's expected to win.
Absolutely, but with more votes is a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. He was also talking to us, and he was talking to us in two ways. One is he is deeply concerned that our missile defense will degrade his ability to use nuclear weapons to strike us, right? And that's why he's developing these exotic weapons that can get around missile defense. The other thing that he was doing was talking to us about North Korea. When he said, if you attack us or our allies, we will attack you. That was a message about North Korea. We now have the Chinese several months ago saying that if you, the United States, attack North Korea preemptively, we will fight on North Korea's behalf. Now we have the Russians joining that.
Mm-hmm. So there is this view that the president is in such pals with Vladimir Putin. So if that were the case, why would Putin be saying things that sound like they're coming straight out of the Cold War?
Because as I've said before, we are in a Cold War again. Without a doubt. When you look at the Russian invasion of Georgia, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the Russian intervention in Syria, the Russian meddling in our election, the attack just last week by Russian mercenaries on U.S. troops in Syria, we are in a Cold War again. He understands that. He's fighting it. We're slow to figuring that out.
Yeah, do we understand that? The State Department said there was no need to increase sanctions because the Russians are being deterred. Are the Russians being deterred by U.S. policy?
They're not being deterred at all. And every U.S. intelligence official that's testified before Congress in the last several months has said exactly that.
Is it your expectation that Admiral Mike Rogers was testifying saying he doesn't have the adequate authority to combat Russian cyber attacks? Is it your expectation that he will get that authority, that we will deploy more resources?
Doesn't sound like it to me.
And who is Vladimir Putin? When you look at him eye to eye, you see these pictures of these steely blue, cold eyes staring back at you. What can you tell us about him?
It's a great question. You know, Bob Gates said when you look in his eyes, you see KGB, KGB, yes. KGB. That's exactly right. He is a thug. He is a bully. He only believes in relative power. How much do you have? How much do I have? Right? Bullies will continue to move forward in the face of weakness. They will stop when they get punched in the nose. We have not punched him in the nose.
He doesn't seem to take the U.S. seriously, does he?
No, he does not.
Yeah. All right, Michael Morell.
Bracing.
Yeah. You're going to leave us with that. Thank you very much.
Welcome.